Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica, and as you can see by the title of today's video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all some influencer marketing don'ts. This is mostly on the brand side, so if you are working for a brand or if you're interested in what that's like, these are going to be your don'ts. But I will be making an influencer version of this video as well, so influencer don'ts for influencer marketing. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below if you want to stick around for more videos. Now let's just get into it. For those of you that are new to my channel, my background is influencer marketing and social media management for the last 4 years in Los Angeles. I have worked for major brands and I have worked alongside influencers. I've worked and done partnerships with different influencers for a very long time, hundreds and hundreds of influencers by now. So I do have a lot of experience in this category. I also teach a course called an advanced guide to social media management. Sorry, I changed the title. It used to be called How I Made 6 Figures as a Social Media Manager, but they made me change it. So that's why I don't know the title of my own course. But without further ado, let's dive in. The first don't is a major mistake many mid-sized companies make, and that is hiring PR agencies to do your influencer marketing. Oh my gosh, the amount of money you will waste paying PR agencies and the amount of fees and cuts they take is totally astronomical. Also, I personally know a lot of people that work at these PR agencies, even like the biggest, most popular, most sought out PR agencies in Los Angeles, they don't know influencer marketing at all. That is not like their primary background. Most of the time you will get screwed over by them. You will have less results. They're just so bad, and a lot of times they recruit the wrong kinds of influencers. So they're spending your budget essentially in a very not smart way. They're so frustrating. So many brands, I go to them and they're like, oh yeah, we used a PR agency last year. And I'm like, oh, let me see like the budget breakdown for that. And it's just completely ridiculous. You need to hire an influencer coordinator. That's typically what the role is called. I know it is a new space, so it is called different things. Sometimes you can find a social media manager with a background with influencer stuff. You are going to pay more for someone like that because they're going to be covering 2 roles essentially. That is typically what I do for brands. I will do both. Or I will do one or the other depending on the needs of the brand and what I want to do with the brand. But yeah, hire someone. These PR agencies will screw you over in a heartbeat, and also they do not know how to negotiate anything. This company I was working with literally used a PR agency and they paid like $5 grand for an influencer with under 200,000 followers, which is completely astronomical. Like that is absolutely ridiculous. And that's just one example. There's hundreds I could have. They just don't know rates. They just love to spend brand money, and I don't appreciate it as someone who works on the brand side. The second thing you should avoid is using apps. There's FameBit, there's Revfluence, which changed their name. I'll add their new name here. There's a bunch of different apps. I just find that the quality of influencer in the apps are more so for people that don't necessarily understand influencer marketing, in my opinion. They're for someone on the marketing team, like a marketing specialist or some random role within the company, to use an app to do it. I find that you'll get a lot more bang for your buck hiring an expert in this, and a lot of people don't get a good ROI on using apps. But if you are going to use an app, the only app I might consider is called Octoly. In order to use Octoly, you do have to have a product-based brand, so like an interior design company could not use Octoly. You have to have like a skincare item, and it's basically like a collaboration type of a situation. You'll work with micro-influencers, even though micro-influencers don't have a huge return either. I think micro-influencers are like a huge cliche because, long story short, there was this article that came out a few years ago where everyone was like freaking out about how good micro-influencers were, but to be honest, like that article had no credibility, and then that article kind of got reworded, reshared, reused all over the place, so it basically went viral internally that micro-influencers were a way of the future when they're actually not, and you're going to get a lot less return for spending it. Pro tip, if you have a budget, I would spend it on bigger influencers. I would spend it on influencers between 200 and 500,000 followers and YouTubers, rather than spending it on hundreds of micro-influencers. Moving on. Don't ask a million things. When you're working with an influencer, do not ask them for 5 million things for a cheap budget. There's a bunch of these random brands that are so unprofessional. They'll be like, hey, I'll send you a phone case for 10 different posts and 2 Instagram stories. And you're like, dude, are you kidding me? That's just like a chunk of plastic. Like, no. It comes off so incredibly unprofessional, and there are influencer groups out there where you do share contacts and you share basically info and intel on these brands. So we're all very aware, and it is a topic of conversation. And within the community, we know who you are, and we know that we don't want to continue working with you or work with you, period. So it does happen quite a bit where you'll have these like random people that have grammatical errors and ask for these crazy things, and you're just like, who do you think you are? Like, so unprofessional. The next tip I have is do not be rude. Be very cautious of who you hire. They have to be good people, because when you're doing outreach and all that stuff, you don't want it to come across rude or snotty. If you do, then people will be aware of it in the community. Like I said, there are different groups. Speaking of, a great example is this brand called Prana Mat. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but it's basically like an acupressure mat you lay on, and literally they hate on girls for being overweight and heavy, and I have evidence of like a million screenshots of them emailing with different influencers. They're like the rudest, most unprofessional, most hateful brand I've ever seen in my entire life. So don't be like them, because the word gets around, and within the community, we know who you are. The next tip I have for y'all is to not be afraid to negotiate. Sometimes you'll see these brands where they're just like quick to say no, or they're just too afraid to find a common ground, find a compromise, be flexible. Influencers are usually so flexible. Those who aren't flexible are actually managers usually, depending on the amount of leverage you have. Like if you're working with a manager, like an influencer who has a manager that loves your product already, you do have more leverage and you do have more negotiating power, as opposed to being some random brand they've never heard of. Don't be afraid to negotiate and ask for package deals. I always offer package deals as an influencer, so instead of one post, we'll do like 2, a YouTube video, or I'll throw in like an Instagram story, like whatever it is, and I'll just make it work for anyone's budget. Not anyone's budget, but you know, I'll make it work if I'm interested in working with them. And that's the same on the brand side. A lot of brands are quick to just say no, but really you do have a lot of flexibility depending on what you're interested in. I did want to say the only time when I'm working with a brand and negotiating with different influencers that I will just straight up walk away and not try to be flexible is when there's a manager that's giving me a ridiculous rate that's like way too high. Then I'm just like, it's not even worth my time, and you're probably not worth the money to me unless you're a YouTuber with a very big following. Then of course, things are different for y'all. And the next message I have for y'all is do not copy and paste the same message over and over and over. I see it in my DMs, I see it in my emails. It is so unprofessional. It's so obvious that you're just like mass emailing this to hundreds of people, and it's just really not appreciated, and it just doesn't look good. The other day, this brand that I was not at all interested in, and I still wouldn't do a partnership with them because I wasn't interested in them, they went ahead and pointed out something specific about my account that they liked, and I really thought that that was a really nice touch in their pitching email, because it really shows that they actually looked at my account, because a lot of times people will just like sweep in, grab all these emails and mass email, and you're just like, that is so distasteful. The last tip I have for y'all is to do your research. All the time I'll see these brands like being like, oh, do this video, do this, do that. But literally you have to research your influencers. I'll give you an example. Say I'm looking for influencers that post recipe videos and I want to find people in the US, women. You need to ask for their demographic information or their media kit. You can always ask for screenshots of their demographic information. If they say no, that's pretty much a red flag. Do they create really good video content? If they do not post videos regularly, you're going to be lower on the algorithm. Say you find a random person someone on your marketing team likes, but they post videos like once a month. Well, they're going to be lower on the algorithm because Instagram's going to be like, oh, why are you posting a video all of a sudden? Like, that's weird, and your views are not going to be as high, especially depending on how much you're paying for them. That's something I would also keep in mind. Keep in mind how much they post. If they only post like once a week, well, also the algorithm's not going to really enjoy that they're posting once a week. So you want to find someone who is more engaging, more active. You can also see how they interact with their followers. Are they brand friendly? When they make brand content, how is the engagement? Because sometimes you'll have people that make great content, and then as soon as they make an ad, everyone hates on them for it. So you don't want that to happen if you're going to be paying them for an ad. So there's a bunch of variety of topics to keep in mind, but really do your research on each and every influencer. I like to come out with an Excel sheet of the influencers, and then I kind of pick and choose who I want. I typically end up crossing out who I don't like, and I leave notes that way people on the marketing team can know, like, hey, I didn't want this person for this reason. Hey, this isn't working out because they want to charge me $1 trillion billion. I'm so sorry. I just realized I talked so fast and I haven't even had coffee yet. Probably because I'm a little hangry right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, I hope this video gave y'all some insight into influencer marketing. These are just some general tips. If you would like for me to go more in depth on these, I'd be more than happy to give y'all like a full breakdown or even create an additional course, because my course is on social media management. It does have a section for influencer marketing, but it doesn't have like an in-depth section for influencer marketing. So hopefully this helps. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!